Imagine this. It's 2 a.m. You're staring at a mountain of books, random notes, and a growing list of assignments. Your mind is racing. Your motivation has vanished. You feel overwhelmed. That's exactly where I was, a failing student, stressed out, ready to give up, until I discovered a strategy that changed everything. Today, on the Growth Mindset Project, I'm peeling back the curtain on top student secrets that took me from almost failing to being accepted into one of the best universities in the world. If you ever feel overwhelmed by school, life, or just too many demands, keep watching. This one switch can transform your grades and your mindset. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on more strategies from real students for real progress. Trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. So picture me in high school, juggling sports, Olympiad practice, endless homework, and school events. The pressure kept building. I tried my best, staying up late, doing everything I could, but my grades kept slipping. The worst part? The more I tried to catch up, the more I'd get stuck in this cycle. I'd feel overwhelmed. I'd procrastinate, then panic as exams got closer, and cram everything at the very last second. My mom even had this word for it. She'd say I was fireflying. Basically, the only time I'd actually study hard was when I was fighting off a disaster, like the night before an exam. It all came crashing down after a brutal chemistry exam. Let's just say I barely recognized my own grade. That was the turning point for me. I knew I couldn't keep going like this. But what could I do? There were too many subjects, and it all felt so important. But I realized something critical, something schools rarely tell you. Not every subject deserves your attention equally. You see, I was spending hours treating every class as if it mattered the same. Chemistry, physics, math, languages, biology. If I had 3 hours to study, I'd split it evenly, 30 minutes on each, then feel guilty for not doing enough in any of them. The results? Some passing grades, some okay grades, only occasional top marks. And I always felt overwhelmed. But then I made one small, powerful change. Here's what I did. I grouped my subjects into 3 categories. It's a simple exercise, but it's the breakthrough that changed my life. First, grab a pen and some paper if you're watching this right now and feeling overwhelmed. Trust me, this is worth it. Category 1. Your must-ace subjects. These are the classes that matter most to your future. Maybe you love them, maybe you need them for your dream university, or maybe they light you up inside. For me, it was math and physics. Category 2. The good enough subjects. These you want to do reasonably well in, but they aren't make or break. They don't define your future, but you can't let them tank your GPA either. Category 3. The bare minimum group. Be honest here, which subjects just aren't that important to you? Your goals, or your university applications? You still need to pass, but you don't have to be perfect. I want you to write down your own classes under these 3 categories. Really think about your priorities. Where do you actually need to shine, and where can you cut back? If you find this helpful so far, and you're starting to get new ideas for dealing with feeling overwhelmed, go ahead and like this video and let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear which subjects you're moving into each group. So, back to the strategy. Once you've grouped your subjects, everything shifts. Instead of slicing your study time equally, you allocate your best energy to the most important classes. I took the same 3 study hours and started spending 1 full hour on my toughest subject, another full hour on the next in line, and the remaining time on those I just needed to pass. And you know what happened? My grades jumped. Chemistry climbed from a barely passing grade to excellence. Physics soared. Math stayed strong. Some language classes slipped a bit, but not enough to matter. Most importantly, feeling overwhelmed started to disappear. Here's the key. Each subject deserved a different approach. For my must-ace classes, I focused on deep learning. I'd sit down, break down every concept, and use a powerful technique called active recall. It's not just reading or highlighting. Active recall means I asked myself questions, explained concepts aloud, or even taught them to a friend, or just to an empty room, whatever worked. The science behind it is clear. When you try to explain something, you quickly figure out what you don't understand. That tells you exactly where to focus your effort. Practice problems became my best friend. I did them over and over, learned from my mistakes, and started all of this a couple weeks before exams, not the night before they hit. That's another secret. Preparation in advance beats last-minute stress every time. For my mid-level classes, I still used these strategies, but scaled them down. I reviewed notes, did enough practice to cover the basics, but I didn't stress if every detail slid. My goal was simple: understand the main ideas, master the key concepts, and move on. Perfection wasn't needed. And yes, for the least important classes, I allowed myself to cram. As much as people warn against it, sometimes you have to be realistic. If a class wasn't related to my future and didn't weigh heavily in my applications, I'd focus on the major exam topics and cover just enough to get by. This might sound ruthless, but the result was peace of mind. I could breathe again. Instead of trying to be the best at everything, I became outstanding at what mattered most. That's how I broke my cycle of feeling overwhelmed, stopped putting out fires, and started shaping my own trajectory. And here's another benefit. When you stop spreading yourself thin, you feel more in control. Instead of panicking before every test, I felt prepared. I wasn't just reacting to whatever teachers threw at me. I was making choices about my future. I felt empowered for the first time. All the pressure from extracurriculars and outside commitments, my new system gave me the freedom to participate without constantly stressing about grades. I felt intentional, not desperate. How would your days change if you stopped trying to do everything perfectly and started excelling at what really matters? Take a few minutes today and try prioritizing your subjects. Really own your decisions. If you're not sure where to begin, just think about which classes excite you, which you're strongest in, and which are essential for your future goals. And hey, it's okay for this plan to look different for everyone. Maybe you want to ace languages and history, not sciences. Maybe the reverse. It doesn't matter. The secret isn't the specific subjects. It's the clarity and focus that come from saying, these are my priorities, and this is where I'll put my best energy. Before we continue, take a second to like, subscribe, and drop your groups in the comments. What are your must-ace, good enough, and bare minimum subjects? I want to know how you're dealing with feeling overwhelmed and what you're going to try next. Remember, it's not just about grades. When you feel overwhelmed, it can paralyze you. But making a conscious choice about your focus game plans your energy, relieves stress, and turns chaos into real progress. The more you practice this, the more confident you'll get. And as you see your results change, that feeling of overwhelm will be replaced by control, growth, and momentum. If this is making you think differently about your studies, or if you've ever wanted real-life strategies from students who've been where you are, you're in the right place. And if you need more hacks, mindsets, and practical motivation, don't forget to watch our other videos right here on the Growth Mindset Project. Tap the bell for updates, and we'll see you in the next episode. You've got this.